Sun's out. Buns out. Let's go, baby. Fraud presents Fraudwire. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Cena Gazdavi. Now on all social media at Justin_Williams_comedy. Justin, it is so good to see you. How are you, my friend?
It's good to see you guys, and I hope that it continues as long as the gods at Optimum permit with their beautiful service. We got shout out to Optimum and Time Warner Cable, the best cable operators in the world.
It's like you and the people of Iran are having really their internet right now. It's really rough. And with us, joining us in the virtual studio today is our man in power, the Godfather. The Godfather of the Last Podcast Network. Just used his shirt to clean off his lens. Thank you for doing that. That is great. Ed Larson, everybody.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, bang, 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 bang. Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest. I'm sorry, I'll say it.
That's great. They won this weekend, right? They won, right?
Yep.
They're 3-0, baby.
Wow. That's incredible. How are the Chiefs doing, Justin? Are you guys doing well?
We are 2-1. We decided to donate a game to the NFL last week.
That's
like the Colts.
That's good.
Yeah, we gave the Colts just couldn't make kicks or do regular stuff. So we'll
How generous of you. How generous. That's so fantastic. I haven't followed the Steelers at all. I know there's a quarterback thing. I don't really care. But football is football. We're here to talk about odds. We've got a lot of fun stuff for you guys today. I want to dive right into this first here because it came out right after we recorded, I think, last week. And so it's a little old, but new emotionally for us here at Fraud. And that is Kanye West's Donda Academy. Justin, we've talked about fake schools before on this show. And I'm so excited that Kanye West has now joined the ranks of what I believe will probably be a fake school. And I got a couple things to go over about it, including his quote that he has never read a book. But let's play that clip first. This was in an interview that he did here.
Also, when you said I hadn't read this book, I actually haven't read any book. Reading is like eating Brussels sprouts for me.
I love Brussels sprouts way more than reading.
This was my problem too. I love Brussels sprouts. Let me hear it in the chat if you love Brussels sprouts. But what is Justin? How big of a problem is this that he does not like to read books?
It's individually, except for the fact that he's a charismatic celebrity. People then try to find wisdom in the rantings of a man who's not taking his medicine in ways that they wouldn't if he was just a normal person on the subway. So now other people are arguing that they shouldn't go to college or they shouldn't read books. And I think you're seeing the results of it in society.
All I need to do is flow and lay down these beats, and I can be like Kanye. Eddie, what do you think?
I mean, personally, I don't think you need to go to college to be successful in life, but I do think that, occasionally read something. It's just, I'm not an avid book reader, but if I ever send my children to a school, I would hope that owns it likes books. It seems a little crazy.
He has this school, and Rolling Stone reported on it because parents were required
I never heard of
to.
This.
Oh yeah. So he's got a school now, and it's a tuition-based Christian private school, and you have to pay tuition, right? You're gonna get in there. You have to apply to this school, and the reason it got up in the news is because parents have to sign an NDA for when they're sending their kids into the school, which is flag number one. All right.
Absolutely.
Even the Catholic Church is like, hey, this is transparent.
Yeah, the Catholic Church is like, wow, how basic do you have to be? You have to have them to sign a form? We just use, shame and guilt to make people shut up.
Now, let me ask you a question. Does this school, count as school? Like, if you go to this
I
school,
love this question. I love
do
this
you
question.
have to like go to another school actual grades?
The school is not accredited. So maybe Justin, you're a professor. Maybe you could tell us like when a school is accredited or not accredited. I know it's like at a college level that matters a lot, but what about like the elementary level?
It matters a lot at all levels. So, for instance, when I was growing up in the Kansas City, Missouri school district lost its accreditation, I had to move to the suburbs to go to high school. So that's how much it mattered. I literally had to uproot my life to have a future. I had to leave my community.
Oh my God! Well, Donda Academy's named after Donda Academy's Donda West. It's not accredited yet, which I think is a huge, huge
She
problem.
couldn't even research a good plastic surgeon.
Yeah. It was in a book.
It was in a book.
I look at these open to Christian Academy because like the Bible is a book, you know? He's just like, I've never read it, you know?
No, why not? It's spoken like the Quran. They just sing it because every morning they do a full school worship. Classes like language arts, math, science, in addition to lunch, recess, and enrichment courses such as
Lunch,
visual
as much
art.
As I want, it's not a class.
As much as I excelled at lunch, it is not part of my academic career. Courses, visual art, film, choir, and parkour.
I like it. I like it because Kanye thinks he's like doing something original, but he's just launching what's just called a performing arts high school, which many of those are accredited around the country.
Yeah, it's just like a magnet school. It's kind of basic. So this is from the website in the Who We Are section. It says, using an ethic of integrity, Donda Academy prepares students to become the next of leaders, thinkers, and innovators by providing them with a world-class education, the rigorous core curriculum, an emphasis on sustainability, creativity, critical thinking, and problem solving. So I went to the website, and let me see if I can share my screen.
Just a Kanye tweet that just says Bill Cosby innocent in all caps.
Yeah. So they have like a normal and stuff like that, but at the bottom, you know, there's all those like legal disclaimer things that they have to put in here. And a lot of times, you know, private schools or public schools, you know, whatever they have to have certain things like boilerplate. But everyone has kind of a different discrimination policy. It all has to generally say we don't discriminate. But I found this to be the non-discrimination policy for Donda Academy. It says, Donda Academy does not discriminate on the basis of race, color, sex, or national or ethnic origin in administration of its educational policies, scholarship program, and athletic and other school-administered programs. Great. Absolutely. I love it. But if you go to the second sentence of this two-sentence non-discrimination policy, Academy does reserve the right to select on the basis of academic performance, religious commitment, philosophical compatibility, and willingness to cooperate with the Donda Academy administration and abide by its policies. Gosh damn, this guy.
You know,
Problematic. He wants people to be like fall in line with his ethos and everything like that. Like be Kanye's disciple before you can actually be in his school.
he's not even allowed to send his own children there.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like this is disgusting. I
Yeah.
I hate when people just I went to Catholic school, you know, and that a fraud in its own. The fact that I even had religion class, you know,
Yeah.
like they graded me on how much I believed in God, which always, even as like a second grader, it drove me insane. But this is rude, and like who's falling for this? How many people go to this school?
I mean, plenty of kids are going into it now. I mean, this is crazy, but I guess like
Is it after school? Like, is it like
no, man,
daycare? I don't
this is school
understand.
school. This is school school. So like, Justin, I guess going back to the accreditation question here, do you know how hard this is coming from the chat here?
There are, there's like like the Middle States Commission and all of these other educational bodies. Like you have to submit like the CVs of your faculty to see that they went to accredited schools. You have to submit like course syllabi to where independent evaluators are evaluating your content. It's not like the easiest thing in the world, but there are like crazy schools out there that are accredited. So it's like the fact that this is actually crazier than say like Bob Jones University that like didn't allow interracial dating on campus until like 2003 or something. It's like he like that they're accredited and like this isn't, so that should like tell you something.
They read books though. They read books.
Yeah, no, how is this like worse than? It's like at least Florida didn't ban all the books. Like,
Yeah, Florida at least picked the books. They read the books before they banned them, at least, to know which ones to ban. But what do you guys think in general of like celebrities building their own school? And it does this as well. He has his own school where all 6,000 children go to, or whatever it is.
it just drives me insane. Like, it's like you have no. He's why would he have a school? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, there's nothing for him to have this kind of lord over everyone. What's he teaching everybody?
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah, all of this is there's two things to this. There's one is that it represents like the ultimate filtration of consumer education, right? It's like, are you rich? Open a school, and that's your only like. And you're not even getting the world's experts like the way like the Carnegies did with like Carnegie Mellon or something like that, right? Where they're attempting to like compete with the world's best schools. This is just like I'm opening something just because I can get tuition from people. And then the second, I think all of this is an argument for taxing the rich more because clearly just like launching schools in their spare time.
That's a great
It's like,
point.
yeah, let's just like tax these people so we don't have to worry about Elon Musk launching himself into space for entertainment on a Tuesday.
But this is
there
science. It'll be science class. Eddie.
Is there a uniform? Like, do they have
Yeah.
like? Do they have to wear Yeezys? Like,
Yeah,
what is
they
it?
all have. Instead of having to buy all the books, they have to buy shoes.
And what if your kid's in a wheelchair? How do you in parkour class? You know,
How inclusive is that? You know, it's funny. Last week I mentioned like how crazy things could be. Like, of course, we don't have classrooms with like 30 kids and stuff. We don't have that. And then someone tweeted at me. They're like, "Hey, man, like heard you say this on the show. I have something to tell you about the American education system. We have a lot of places with 30 or more students in a classroom." And I was like, "God
Oh,
damn,
yeah.
that's a lot. That is so." People in a classroom for one teacher. ISIS started with fewer people. I think this should be noted. This is important to think of. They could rise up against the teacher and just take over.
I had over 40 kids in every class I had
Jesus, dude.
in high school. My graduating class was like 700.
Oh, that's
Did you
that's
ever
a huge
wa-
school.
Yeah. Did you ever walk into a classroom and just be like, "I'm your substitute teacher for the day, kids"?
I mean, I barely walked into any classroom. But
But I guess like, aren't we supposed to have like a fundamental layer of like or of just education for everyone? Did the internet ruin that? Because I feel like we're so siloed now, where everyone thinks they know exactly what kind of education they're supposed to get. And I guess the other side is do we trust the government to maybe say this is the type of education we're supposed to be having? I mean, it seems strange now.
I mean, it seems to me that this doesn't count. like if you go like repeat second grade if you go, right? Like, isn't it? It's a bunch of horse
It's a great
shit.
question. I have no idea what's going to happen if they try to transfer to like a reasonable middle school of some kind that is accredited. Like, what are they going to do? I don't understand. But I guess like my biggest problem is like everyone, like Elon made his own. It's like, I don't believe in whatever we're teaching kids, even what we grew up with. Like how we spent a week on Christopher Columbus. Like you know what I mean? Like we spent all this time thinking like it wasn't if my 6th grade math teacher didn't show us roots, I don't know where else I would have gotten that education. And that was a document or a movie, a multi-part movie that we watched over an entire week. Already we have problems and huge gaps in what we're teaching everybody. Celebrities are the right people to do it, but we've given them an opportunity. Justin, what do you think? Am I making sense here?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like we just have a really bad class of millionaires and billionaires, man. These people aren't going to leave behind like, the like J.P. Morgan book collection or like there's no public libraries going to be left behind by these people. It's just like, I mean, this is shocking. I mean, that diversity statement there is just like I don't think legal drew that up.
It's 2 sentences. No lawyer would write a discrimination policy, non-discrimination policy in 2 sentences. It's incredible. A normal paragraph is 3 sentences at least. Am I wrong? I mean, come on. You can't.
I mean, it's driving me crazy, like thinking that he runs a school. He publicly threatened death against a 28-year-old, like
Yeah.
recently. Like
Yeah.
it's just like it's fucking crazy. He's harassing his ex public. And
Yeah.
it's like this guy is running a school. Is he principal?
Is the
Or is he
problem
just
though,
like-
Eddie? Is the problem him or the people that are like, you know what, that guy makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna send my kids to him. Isn't that a bigger problem?
I mean, it is a huge problem, but those, no matter what, you have to stop the guy in charge first before you like work on the minions. It's crazy. It's fucking no sense. Like literally, also like just thinking about the fact that Kim is dealing with this, like dealing with getting harassed, and she's like the most powerful woman in the still can't like get him to stop her. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just like the fact that they're gonna put this guy in charge of children. Like, what mother is gonna send their child to this school? Like,
Also, but like,
Examine.
listen, I mean, is this a problem for me to say this? What did you expect, Kim? Went and allowed like like a raptor inside of your body, and you had its babies. Like this is what happens when you cross genes with a dinosaur like Kanye West. I mean, this is the man's insane.
Yeah, but he was the best thing that ever happened to her. He elevated her legitimacy to a level to where now
true.
she's done with Pete Davidson because Pete Davidson will keep her on page 6 and watch her next move will be a billionaire. I promise her next husband will be like a Saudi, he'll be a Saudi prince, one of the world's largest venture capital firms, and then she will have kind of finally crossed over from like, Orange County kind of having money to like real money. Like that's the goal. Like both her and Kanye always wanted to compete with like Jay-Z and Beyonce. That was like the whole thing about them.
Yeah, it definitely, the Kanye relationship got her into the fashion circles, that got her into like the critical acclaim and success that you need to be, in like the New Yorker or some shit. Before she was just like makeup and models and little stuff like that. Now she's like couture and all this jazz. Eddie, you were going to jump in?
I mean, at least Kim is like taking her clout and doing something positive occasionally, like getting people out of prison. And I really appreciate that. I mean, like I think it's great. I hated her forever, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh wow, this is actually great. Thank you, giving this a shot. And so like to see that she's tortured by this guy bothers the hell out of her. And she's literally just like she's trying to stay busy releasing people from jail, and then she has to deal with all this other bullshit.
Yeah, it's like watching if OJ had Twitter in his like 30s. Like that's the kind of stuff he would be tweeting about the Goldman kid,
It's like, how bad do you have to be to get the world to empathize with Kim Kardashian to this level? To we're like, that poor woman, that poor woman.
Yeah. Well, it's not as much woman, it's just like if she can't escape this, like what
Yeah.
hope does any normal woman have, to
God.
be able to like escape the fucking tyranny of a psychopath ex-husband.
All right.
Yeah. But there's also a sadness to it, to when, like, if I'm Kanye West and I'm one of the most rapper producers of all time, and I'm just constantly having to do things to get attention. I think that is like this like really sad commentary on like what it means to be famous in the internet age. It's like being Kanye West is not enough. He has to launch some goofy school. He has to like threaten to kill his wife on Twitter every other day. It's just like, I don't know. Nobody can be like Quincy Jones now, where you just sort of kind of sit at home and like, have Frank Sinatra over and get wasted, and no one knows about it until you write a.
We would
years
do
later.
that. We would do this. That's what we would do. We're all the Quincy Jones type, which is why maybe we were born in the wrong decade, guys. I don't know.
I got a fun Kanye story, a little inside
Please.
inside information for you.
All right, spill the tea, baby.
He once called. He used to, back in the day, he opened for P-Funk on a tour, and P-Funk was smoking weed, and Kanye called the cops on them and tried to get them arrested for smoking weed. When he was opening, he was the opener. Yeah, this is like
That's fucked up.
2002 or 2001 or something like that. And I remember them telling me that story like before he was super famous, and just be like, "God damn, I hate this."
What an asshole! That's gonna be a class. How to snitch.
Yeah.
Could you imagine calling the police with that story? Like, excuse me, police. I don't know if you know of George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars, but these gentlemen have marijuana on them, and as if that's even.
Oh my god!
I love it. It's like, go ahead.
Oh, there was a guy smoking a joint in the front row, and Kanye stopped the show and then had the cop from the back of the office. And then people were
Excuse me,
booing him
sir.
and shit. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. This gentleman has an inch marijuana cigarette here that he keeps smoking.
He called the police because there's an illegally parked spaceship on stage, and
Can we get this? Can we get this out of here? All right. We're on with Ed Larson and Justin Williams here on the Fraudwire. And so happy, by the way, to be back on the last podcast network, Twitch. We had to make our own Twitch for a while. If you subscribed or did anything there, play some games on the Fraudsters channel. But I love being on the LPN Twitch. Love you guys. So thanks for joining us here today. Justin, we don't normally talk about Trump stuff in season 3 coming up here. And I'm really excited about it. But we were going to do his campaign fraud. I guess I'll tease it out a little bit. But one of the things that came up after this, and just recently, Letitia James, hell yes. The Attorney General, Tish James, on last Wednesday, sued Donald Trump and 3 of his adult children, except Tiffany, who speaks for Tiffany, she called an astounding fraud of falsely inflating the value of assets held by their family business, the Trump Organization, for their own financial gain. James is seeking penalties that, if imposed, could effectively end the president's real estate career and would imperil the Trump Organization itself, which started by his father in Queens in the 1920s. They're including banning Trump and his children, Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, from ever serving as officers of a New York registered company, which is not that big of a deal because you can always just register in Delaware or Nevada or Florida or whatever. The Attorney General is asking the court to force the Trumps to repay at least $250 million in what she claims for ill-gotten proceeds. James also said her office would refer evidence to the Justice Department for possible criminal charges, including bank fraud. She said, Mr. Trump thought he could get away with the art of the steal, but today that conduct ends. Oh! why do we have to have such like artful dunks? We could just you did it. Why do you need to? No, everyone's laughing at that. So first of all, let's get into it here, folks. Honestly, what is Tiffany doing? How is she not involved in anything? How does she get the shift on literally everything?
I mean, she just at times she's a normal rich kid, just doing
Yeah.
flying in
A
helicopters,
normal rich
popping
kid.
bottles.
That's exactly right.
But this probably means nothing, because every time anyone tries to do anything to him, nothing happens, and so I just imagine this will be the same. And that's where we're at, in my opinion.
Justin.
Yes, it is going to be like artificially inflating his assets will be very much kind of Al Capone-ish, because it'll be like, well, if that's what they got him on, that's like the least of what happened, but whatever, as long as it's something,
Yeah, and that's a good. I didn't really get into it, but that's what he's been doing. So when you go to the bank, like, hey, you've got this asset, and you maybe want to borrow against it, right? Let's say you have a house. There's usually an appraiser that comes and says your house is worth this much, and if you're in a red line district, that appraiser will probably do it less, and that's a huge problem. There's racism rampant through the appraisal process. But if you're just a business and you go to the bank, the business says, hey, what's your company worth? You could just send them a spreadsheet that says whatever you fucking want. And so the bank will say, oh, this is a $500 million business. Fantastic. Absolutely. Love this Excel spreadsheet you send. I'm all about it. Here we go. And then you get a loan against that, when in reality, you've only got like a, $5 million business that's on your hands there. Now, all of a sudden, this is, by the way, folks, this is how the wealthy not only stay wealthy, generate more wealth. It's not working harder, right? I always try to think, like, if I just work a couple more projects or do a couple more things, I can make more money. That's what, like, us dumbasses down here do. We should be going to the bank and saying, yes, my business has a spaceship. It is worth $3 billion. They'll be like, well, Mr. Gazimi, you've got a nice suit on. You seem trustworthy, and I'll buy it. That's exactly what they're doing. But I guess my question for you guys, though, Justin, what is an asset that you have that you would inflate?
Oh, you want to go ahead? Go ahead, Eddie.
I don't have anything. I don't even have a car. I inflate my assets. I inflate my own self. Like I pretend like I'm doing better than I am at all times.
Well, that's what my Instagram's for.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like, I think the computer I'm using is an asset, and that's not that great. I got this Scarlet. That's nice.
There we go. You could run that seems like millions of dollars of high production value technology. You've got a mic that you're just tossing around. That's expensive equipment there, Eddie. Look at that phone. Justin, what about you?
I'm trying to open a nightclub, and when I do open it, I will say that it is the premier nightclub on the face of the earth.
Absolutely.
I'll say it's not in Miami Beach. It's not in Dubai. It's in downtown Newark, New Jersey, baby. It is the number in the world, bar none. It's huge. Many people are saying it.
Huge. Huge. Many people. Yeah, that's a fact. I've heard a lot of people are one of the hottest clubs around. It will be open soon.
I mean, if his business is worth so much, how come he never pays?
Yeah, I mean, he's not a billionaire. I don't think he's a billionaire. My opinion is he's just actually not a billionaire. Maybe on paper,
drives me nuts.
there's
My
stuff
whole
there,
life.
but yeah. What's the most offensive Trump con that you've seen, Eddie? What's the one that pisses you off the most?
My Uncle Joe. He's a roofer. He didn't pay him back in the '90s. He worked on properties in New Jersey, and he like didn't pay him, and then he was like, "Oh, if you want your money, then you'll have to sue me." And Uncle Joe don't got enough money to sue Donald Trump, and so he just has to like take the hit, or if he brings him to court, the court costs will be more money than he won for the job that he did. And that's what he does. That's why he uses independent contractors all the fucking time, because he knows he can pay them or put them out of business, and not pay them or put. They try to defend themselves, they're fucked. And that's what he does. And so my whole life, I always knew him as this like scumbag who doesn't pay his bills. And then, throughout my whole family, we always talked about it. And not even just like this thing, just in general. In Jersey, that's what he was known as. And then all of a sudden, he's just like running for president. It was just like I was like, oh, no one's gonna buy this shit. And then it seems so crazy. And then here we are. We're still. He's gonna get away with this. He's gonna get away with everything. It's just like it's the mob, the lynch mob. When does that come? Like when?
No, he's at the front. His own mob, apparently. I mean, this
That's
is what
the thing. Everyone who hates him. Like it's just like it drives me crazy.
Justin,
But
what
fuck
about
him.
you? What's the one that pisses you off the most?
Well, I mean, he had a fake scam university, so that was a bad
That was
one.
The Trump
but
University.
even-
That was going to be mine. Yeah.
Yeah, but even echoing what Eddie said, just someone who lives in New Jersey, that for what he did to Eddie's uncle, he then entire city of Atlantic City. And if you've ever been to Atlantic City, it's like a place that does not deserve someone to steal from it any more than it's been stolen from. And then he went and just like buried the city. Well, everyone there is a loser. Nothing was ever going to work there. And it's like the meanest thing you can do to a place that's like struggling,
Yeah, he really
Man,
abandoned that town, man.
when you look at Atlantic City these days, and better in Boardwalk Empire than it does now. A show that took place 100 years ago, and in Trump himself, he left his name on the building forever. I mean, obviously it's all gone now, but he left Carl. He then put in his cabinet. And then when he left Icon in charge, Icon canceled everyone's fucking pension who worked at Trump.
Yeah.
So all these people, I was down there, filming, and I see as I'm down there, they're just taking, what they're doing. Everyone was protesting who used to work there, and they brought in and then they were working there without insurance for years, and these people still loved him somehow. And then I go into the merch shop, and it's like fucking locker up T-shirts, and it's insane in there. And the Trump Taj Mahal, they had this thing. My mom had a real, and she had to go to Trump, and she went to Trump Taj Mahal all the time. Drove me crazy. And then they had this scam over there. You would write them a check, and they would give you cash back, and then put the money on the tables. And then if you lost that money, you could write another check, and they give you cash and whatever. And and then whenever the check bounced, inevitably, because everyone was a horrible gambler, they would, if you ever bounced a check, I'm sure you probably haven't, but I have. And so when you bounce a check, they could deposit it 3 times. And so when you deposit the check 3 times, you get hit with a $35 fee each time, and then the other person gets hit with that fee that they got hit with. Okay? Trump taught out they could deposit the check 3 times as a paper check and 3 times as a digital check, depositing bad checks 6 times just to make a bunch more money off of people who couldn't afford to pay their checks. And my mom personally, she wrote 5 bad checks, right in a row. And so once the check bounces, also aren't you morally obligated to not take more checks from the same person?
Yeah.
But they have no way of figuring that out. And so after my mom ended up passing away, rest of all this stuff, and trying to be, trying to live her life, I went to the same window where my mom was pulling money out from, and I tried to give them money to pay, and they wouldn't take it. They said that I had to like fill out a bunch of forms and send money to Las Vegas in order to cover the debts. But if I had because I had cash in hand, to the place where they got cash. Only place I could have put cash down was on the fucking tables, and try to, and that was the only place you were allowed to spend more money. And so I like Taj Mahal City. It was it's like because of what Taj Mahal started, just kept going throughout the entire town, fucking everybody. They had 3,000 people working there that they laid off before they closed down. Fuck them. You don't work at a casino as a waitress for 40 years. You do it for a pension, not for no reason. And they just took it from everyone at the last minute, and no one cares. No one tried to stop them. No one did anything. And then the worst part is they blew up Trump Taj Mahal, and it was all over the news. And you could have, it doesn't matter. They just built another casino right there.
All those folks lost their pension.
Yeah, it wasn't like it's just someone else coming in to rob someone else differently. So it's
going to take a long time.
Bad for
it's going to take a long time to rebuild that town. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they always blame because the way New Jersey is, it's all about like race and class. So they just like go, well, it's just a shithole, and then like all the people that like have engineered urban poverty in New Jersey, with the way Eddie described, they all get off the hook because just the people who are the victims get blamed for it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, if they only pull themselves up by the bootstraps. I just want to chime in with the chat here. Hey, Skulkers, great to see you here. Happy you're here. He says the steaks were awful. So the Trump steaks.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had eggs, but the steaks seem pretty bad.
Just think about this. Donald Trump owns a casino, okay? At the casino, they give away free drinks to anyone gambling, okay?
Yeah. Right.
His brother died of alcohol. And so he's giving free drinks away, knowing that his brother died of this disease. I mean, like how many ways can we call this guy a scumbag?
No, plenty of ways, and we're gonna try to do it in season 3 of Fraudsters.
I will say, as someone who does go to Atlantic City, sometimes I do. That's not the worst thing is when they give you the free drinks because I don't gamble. So I'm like, I'll just stand by a machine and go, I'll take a, Long Island iced tea and then just like walk right into the nightclub with it.
Hell yeah. Thank God.
These are hacks by Justin Williams. All right, let's move on here. We got plenty in season 3, which will be starting October 18th, by the way. We're going to drop season 3. We'll see our deep dives. We'll start then. But a 23-year-old crypto king, luxury cars seized after $35 million investor money. It's another crypto thing. We try to cover crypto every week because there's a one every single fucking week. Again, I think this also came from the Discord. Apologies if I missed who this was. 5 luxury cars, including 2 BMWs, 2 McLarens, and a Lamborghini. I mean, maybe they've been seized from 23-year-old, 23-year-old Aiden Platersky, the self-described crypto king of Canada. This is probably Canada's history. During the bankruptcy proceedings, to a new report from the CBC, those cars are only worth of the $35 million that Platersky allegedly took from investors who thought he'd make them rich in the cryptocurrency market. And it's not clear whether the ever see that money. Platersky and his company AP Private Equity Limited, that sounds very official, definitely official, are facing at least 2 civil lawsuits after 140 people have come forward to say they invested a combined $35 million in Platersky. Notice there, people, again, civil suits. No criminal suit, no criminal charges there. Maybe one day, but this is what happens with money.
Who would do it? Canada?
Yeah. This is it. Those people believe they were. Yeah, they're not charging it. These people believe they were investing in a cryptocurrency, and Platersky's online presence included photos of the 23-year-old on private jets and next to luxury cars, and they helped that image describe what he was doing. His YouTube channel and Instagram have been deleted. It appears he purchased articles on websites like Forbes.mc, the top level domain for Monaco, and a far right news outlet, Daily Caller, associated with success in the crypto market. What do you know? The Daily Caller. The article from 2021 includes a photo of Petersky looking at his appears to be a private jet. Notably, 2021 was a time when cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum were trading near all-time highs. The headline read, Aiden Petersky, meet Canadian investor who is taking the world of crypto by storm. Well, is victim here, guys? Justin?
No, because then
Funny.
when it said click on a related story, it's like Barack Obama is gay was like the second story. So,
Yeah.
I think that Daily Caller is not exactly a place you go for reputable information. I'm surprised that not really super surprised because Forbes has some trashy content, but Forbes actually does have like a name that's respectable.
It's supposed to, at least. I mean, that's so what's crazy is I don't understand. Like, I guess I don't know. Glenn Weber over there in the chat. He's from Canada. It seems we have scumbags up here too. Of course, there's scumbags everywhere. What do we do about this crypto thing, and how are these people going to get their money back? Eddie, what do you think of all this?
I mean, how do you trust it? I mean, look at he's wearing a Dodger hat and a Marlin jersey. You know, it's like he obviously doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Plus, and also, I don't no disrespect to my people, but he's Polish. You can't put these guys in charge of your money. It's like how many pierogies could he buy? It's
All of Greenpoint just logged off of the live stream.
Hey, I get it. These are my people. I'm not taking them. We know that putting screen
We knew
doors
better.
And I feel bad for the Polish people. You're always taking, always butt of everyone's all that stuff. The people always joke about the Polish hockey team that tragically drowned during spring training. That's fucked up. I went to 4 funerals that week. It's
Oh my God, incredible!
I mean, yeah. So, like you're trying to cheat the system anyway. So I have no.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I think there should be some sort of accountability for like people that are just taking money from for advertising and stuff, or I don't even know if they got paid by this guy.
I mean, they wouldn't
Picture
run
up
the ad.
and knew that it was clickbait.
I mean, they wouldn't run the ad. I mean, it's so weird. It's a damned if you do situation when it comes to running ads. Like if you choose not to run an ad, then people feel about how being discriminated against. And then if you do run the ad, then you're fucked because you're putting people in trouble because you're running you're advertising for a shitty agency.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like with these things too, it's like I don't even know if they screen them at all. A lot of these things are automated. You could just put your money in, upload it, an AI will, any sort of like racial slur or something, and then they'll post it. These places need money to run and spew out all the crazy disinformation that they're putting out. So I guess this is normal. But all this money, man, you committed. And it's just going to be a civil suit. And this is why the show, because it's going to keep happening. We'll never not have content, unfortunately. So
unless we make the theme of the show whatever fraudster there is, I will go into the world. Listen, everybody that's like watching and listening to this, if you pay my legal bills, I will punch every fraudster in the face that we cover on the show. I will track them down wherever they are in the world, and I'll knock them out.
yeah, let's get some.
Pull their pants down and spank them publicly. I always feel like it's a good idea.
Is this where I'm supposed to solicit people to give donations? Stream? Is this what people do?
Yeah.
Send us money or send us like little gift things, little gift icons or whatever.
20% off.
Punch. I will punch a 68-year-old Barry Minkow. I will sucker punch him in a bar.
I love
That
it.
man who's got 350. I love it.
All right, so I want to do one more story. We'll do it real quick, but then Eddie, I want to get to a scam that you've been through. But first, this one came in through today on our Discord, and I just had to bring it up because both of you are Jersey guys, and Eddie, I know you love a sub. So this one, this place called this company called Hometown International was home to owned one deli, and it was called the Hometown Deli.
Fuck yeah. Good
And
for them.
Hometown International is a holding company that was public, IN. And they just had one asset. We talked about assets just a minute ago. And this deli made $40,000 a year in revenue, basically.
That's not
Now,
good.
the market capitalization of this company was what? And that's like what people value the company at on the market. How big do you think this company was, guys?
I mean, $40,000, right? Not that
Right?
much.
You would think that's like generally, right? Maybe a little bit more than 40. Justin, any guesses?
Let me guess. $85,000.
85,000 guesses for a company. You figure you got some equipment in there that's valuable of some kind. The building
Cooler.
itself, maybe, I don't know, they rent or own, I don't know.
Some
It
sodas.
reached a market capitalization of $113 million.
I mean, how good are the sandwiches any good? Where's that going?
Well, it's funny you say that because this one investor was writing a letter to his clients, and he was saying that someone told him about this stock. And he said in his letter, someone pointed us to Hometown International, HWIN, which owns a single deli in rural New Jersey. HWIN reached a market cap of $113 million on February 8th. The largest shareholder is also the CEO, CFO, treasurer, and a director who also happens to be the wrestling coach of the high school next door to the deli. The pastrami must be amazing.
Love a good sandwich
So
story.
that CEO was Paul Marino, and he ended up leaving the company, but he was a wrestling coach. And what's crazy is that the people that took over, this guy, James Patton, Peter Coker, I feel like he's probably say Coker a lot or something like that.
I mean, is there in it?
There's a C, Coker.
Oh, see, okay. I mean, it's a second C. Yeah, so that's Coker.
No,
That's
there's-
Coker.
Coker? Okay, fine, Coker.
Yeah.
Cocker.
There's Joe Cocker.
and then so then his son also was part of it, and then two other company and then a company from Macau that were both investors in it. Now, what's crazy is that James Patton, who ended up taking over the company, wrestled for Paul Marino back in the day, so he was.
Okay. Okay.
And so they ended up doing this weird shell game. And there's all of these. This is a very complicated story, and I'm not going to be able to cover it now. I really just want to talk about Jersey Deli Meats for a second. But what's crazy here is that these shell companies are able to go public with nothing, right? And the SEC will let you go through because you don't have much to go on. Anyone can just make a company and go public. What they did was they could trade on that company on the off markets and then raise up the price because the 60 shareholders were basically trading with themselves, bidding up the price of the company, which made the company look bigger than it was. Then they were able to buy another company and make the company go public, which inherently boosts the value of the company. So they merged with this biotechnology company. Which is
We do deli and
bioplastics.
biotech. Yeah.
We do pastrami and the cure for COVID is what we're really
Yeah.
focused on.
I want a gabagool with stem cells on it.
If a pastrami sandwich was the cure for COVID, I wouldn't have gotten it twice. I'll tell you that much.
I'll tell you that much.
Oh,
I don't know.
man.
I
Well,
think we may have to do an episode on this. This was so I couldn't even get my head around this thing. But these guys are all up for up to 20 years: securities fraud, wire fraud, bank fraud. And I don't know where this company from Macau went. It's just insane how people are
I was
doing this
looking-
shit.
I was looking at the article. The old dudes.
Yeah,
They're
no, the one guy,
63. Like, these are old men.
Peter Cocker, senior, is 80 years old. Fuck,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
definitely dying in prison.
And his son
Anyway, so-
wrestled for him for Patton, and like what? He's 50.
60, or junior, 53. He wrestled for Paul Morena, the former
okay.
CEO, who was the wrestling coach.
I really hope the one guy gets away with it. As much as I hate fraud and like stealing from people, if you're doing it through the stock market, give it a shot. Who
Yeah, but-
knows?
It does feel like who are the victims here, really? The cold cuts that don't get the attention they deserve. I
Yeah.
mean, that's one less daily. And the kids in the wrestling camp, I guess, I don't know. It's just.
My hat's off to them. I'm for giving it a shot. Anytime you can bring in, and try to make a little extra money. It's hard.
Why
you
not?
know.
It's
I
hard.
used to work for 99 miles to Philly in the East Village. We're on 3rd Ave, 10th Street, and rent kept going up. They eventually had to shut down because you can't charge $24 for a sandwich. So you get your money back.
This place was known for its cheesesteaks as well, just over the bridge
Great.
from Philly. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Rock and
Um,
roll.
we go, Eddie, every week. Every week we have people share where they were a victim of a scam. And the last time you were scammed, can you share one? Do you have a story that you could share with us, an anecdote of maybe when you were scammed? Point.
There's a lot of people who were trying to. But in the last 6 years, I've lost both of my parents, and I'm an only child. And every time that I lost a parent, I would get, you get put on some kind of weird. I would just get calls from all over, literally from Egypt and shit, telling me that my parents owed pay their bills or I was going to go to jail and stuff like that. I think a lot of this shit, I mean, obviously I don't give a fuck. It's go ahead, come after me, but I also knew that both of my parents had zero estate when they passed away, and they had negative estate. So when your parent dies with estate and you don't get any money, you don't have to pay for anything.
Right.
That is a just come and try to convince you up and down, right, how much money I owed them, and because my parents are responsible, and they scare you, and they think that you're going to have to pay for the irresponsibility of the ones you loved. And I'm sure this happens to people who lose children, who like a college student who owes a bunch of money, or someone this is money you don't have to pay back, and they're just going to for you. And so tell everyone no. It's my big thing. And then I was trying to close out my mom's accounts, and then jump through all these fucking hoops, all the god. It's I would call them out of the goodness of my heart. My mom owed them money, car payment. I call them. I'd be like, my mom passed away. We got to get this car back to you. And then they're like, oh, we need proof of death. And it's like, all right, I'll email you a copy of the death certificate. And they're like, no, we need to fill out these forms. And it's like, no, no. I called you and I told you, mark it, because this is it's going to get for you. So please remember, don't let these people torture you when you're, because they get rewarded by when you're in a emotional state, and it will happen. And so just be ready for it, especially if you. and your parents don't have much money. If they have a bunch of if you get a huge estate and they owe money to people, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure you have to pay that money back. But both of my parents died at negative, so I didn't have to pay anyone anything. Although I
Yeah.
did have a credit card, and not a credit card, a bank account, and then that was negative because we were both on it. I had to pay that. But
Well, you should have flipped it up. It's just like, you guys owe me money. This is
I tried.
what's
It
happening.
was Wells Fargo. Guys were fucking
Fuck them.
opening up fake bank accounts in people's names back then, so they can go fuck themselves. But so can any bank and anyone with more money than me, frankly. But the one ripped off and I fell for it was I was trying to get some playoff tickets to go see the Heat, and some guy sold me tickets to a game that was like 3 weeks ago. And then he ran back, and then he just ran into the urban center of Miami, and he knew that I was not going to be chasing him. We lost that day, but go Heat, and
It's like a real robbery scam there. Jeez.
yeah. No, he sold me tickets to a Bucks game that. They got me. This is why you don't. This is why you don't. Bastards not stealing from you with their fucking fees, the sons of bitches. Oh my god.
We should do Ticketmaster.
I mean, honestly, they owed everyone money, got sued, gave everyone money, and made it worse somehow. It doesn't make any sense. Like does the fee change every time I buy a ticket? It doesn't make any sense. If I buy a ticket, why does it change if the money? It's the same service. What are they doing to us? If I buy a $30 ticket, why is it a less fee than when I buy a $300 ticket? It's a ticket. It's the same service. You're giving me the thing. It's the same thing. Animals. Animals. They don't let happiness in our lives anymore, Cena and Justin.
They won't.
And I
They won't do it.
And you go out there and you fucking expose these fuckers.
Eddie,
Don't follow
gotta-
our bank
do-
accounts.
do you have a stream tonight? Are you streaming tonight as well?
No,
Or
I'm
we're
not
just
streaming tonight.
recording.
October, yeah, we're just recording. Cena's going to be on the new Brighter Side, where we talk about things like Ticketmaster. It's like scams and hidden fees and all the fucking due to us, and so that'll come out this Friday. So check that out. I have a stream on the Last Podcast Network. It's the second every month on Twitch. It's the Brighter Side Live, where Amber Nelson and I, you bring us your problems, and then we help you find the brighter side to your problems. So check that out. The next one's going to be on October 11th, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. And also, if you want stuff I was talking about that happened with my mom after she passed away, you can check out my movie, How America Killed My Mother. And you can rent it on Vimeo or howamericakilledmymother.com. It just got into Kevin Smith's Film Festival.
Nice.
Festival. So if you're in New Jersey, Justin, I'm looking at you. We're the Atlantic Highlands on November 30th through December 4th. So
Hell yeah.
Come check us out. It'll be great. I'm very excited because it's a very New Jersey film. And so I'm glad to be showing it in New Jersey to some Jersey fucks.
Great, congrats, Eddie. I didn't know that. That's awesome. Justin, you're getting up this week?
Oh yeah, if you go to justinwilliamscomedy.com, you can always see my updated schedule. And if you send in me email, I'll come to your house.
Boom.
Fuck yeah.
And we'll be back next week for Fraudwire, gearing up for season 3. Guys, I'm so pumped. And I think once we get closer to this that we'll be teasing, we'll definitely be teasing them on the Discord. If you go to social or the Fraudsters LPN, at Fraudsters LPN social, link in bio, check it out. You could get the link to our Discord to get the invite there to just join. We'll say hi. We have such a sweet and loving group in our Discord. It's really great. The Fraudwire stories come and new episode art there, new music. It's going to be Eddie. I just want you to know that Reagan, in the chat named Reagan, wants me to tell you that her and her hubby are excited to see you on Friday in Cincinnati.
Reagan Piper
25th.
Rose. Very
Yes,
vocal.
that's right.
I love it. Yeah, no, do it at Cincinnati this weekend, Friday night. Yeah, babe. Brewery, let's rock. I'm going to check out the Dolphins beat the Bengals on Thursday, and then I'm sticking around the extra day to do a show.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thanks.